want to share just a few reflections, a short Derash on Parshat HaAkedah this morning. It has long been a difficult passage for me, and I'm sure it's been for many of us. Its intended meaning remains enigmatic, as I mentioned in my introduction, and this ambiguity has made it difficult for me to use this text for a clear purpose. There's been no claim I could make about what the text means that I was confident enough in to turn around and go out and teach. Moreover, I've never been able to see myself in this story or identify with any of the characters. There don't really seem to be any heroes in this story. No one I've ever thought to emulate or whose motives I even understood enough to say, I get it, I know that feeling. It is, I think, until this year. I spent the first couple of months after the pandemic really intensified, just after Purim, feeling like an Abraham, canceling programs and moving services online, isolating myself and my family at home. These were all sacrifices that needed to be made, and I was willing to make them. I remember the agony of making some of these decisions and the challenge of completely upending life as I knew it. But I knew in my heart that a higher purpose needed to be served, saving as many lives as possible. And I endured the agony of the sacrifice because I knew that I had to. And I know that you did too. But here we are, half a year later, still staring at one another through a computer screen. The economy is in a shambles, and my kid is starting kindergarten on her iPad, and I don't know whether we'll ever return to the way things were. Although I know I've helped protect myself and those around me from harm, it's hard not to feel that our sacrifice has been a bit squandered. Despite our individual efforts, the people with the power to make the big decisions, how to prioritize and utilize resources on a national scale, have acted more in their own interests than in ours. So my painful realization upon reading the story of the Akedah this year is that I don't think I was ever an Abraham. I think I've been an Isaac all along. The one that someone else with more power than me was okay with sacrificing in order to pursue their own inscrutable agenda. And the one that through privilege or providence, I don't know, has thus far walked away alive and mostly unharmed. There are about 200,000 others in this country who, it turns out, were rams. So I think I finally figured out what this text is for. It's for making me angry. Angry enough to want to tear down the sacrificial altars, those systems of injustice that made it possible for people to abuse and exploit other human beings to hoard money and power. And you know, I almost agree with the great poet Yehuda Amichai, who famously wrote, "The real hero of the binding of Isaac was the ram." All those who've perished in this pandemic deserve memorial songs and a far better fate than the one that found them. But that's another thing that I now know this text is for. It's for making me realize that there are no heroes unless we become them. Abraham's servants could have been the heroes, but they chose instead to remain obedient and silent. We no longer even know their names. So no matter what we think the true meaning of the Akedah is, let us remember that as we reflect upon our past actions and what we'd like to do differently in the coming year, we are our own Giborei Chayil, our own valiant heroes. Whatever vision we hold for a less broken future version of our world, the only way we can make that vision a reality is to stand up for it. We're not characters in a story told long ago. We are writers of our own story right this very moment. So let us write a new story together in 5781. Shana Tova U'Mituka. Thank you all so much.